What's good people? Vets, let's talk. We got a special guest in front of the formation today. Sergeant Ramon Lopez. Was it staff sergeant or sergeant?
I was promotable, and it's Ramon, not Roman. A before the O.
My bad, bro. My bad, bro. Hey, but before we get started, I'd like you guys to press that like, share, and subscribe. HBO special, help a brother out, man. How you doing today, my brother?
Oh, just here, living it one day at a time.
How's the family doing, man?
Family's good. Everybody's getting bigger and growing.
Yeah.
My son graduated high school down there in Braunfels this last month.
Right. How your son graduated high school? You still you look like you early 30s. What, 31, 32? Jesus Christ.
Hey.
Old baby face.
Everybody tell me I'm young, but I'm about to be 40 this year. No lie.
Damn, you getting old, bro.
Whoa. Hey. I still got it.
Hey, let's knock off these questions real quick. Do you remember where you were during 9/11?
Yes, sir. 9/11 station that I was in Fort Hood. Sorry.
You're good. Roll with it.
I had a phone call come in, but I was in Fort Hood. I was with the 8th Engineers. Was in PT. We was doing PT, and we just got back from doing PT, and I had a little 19-inch TV VCR combo.
You old, bro. You old.
Hey, easy. But I had bought it from a soldier that was leaving, because when they leave, they don't want to take stuff, so they just kind of hand you down. And
right.
I would always get back to my room, turn the TV on just to see what was going on with news or whatever the case is. And then I grew up in a small town here in southeastern New Mexico, so I knew about New York. I knew about all the big states, but I had no idea what the Twin Towers were. So I got back, turned the TV on, and I was like, hey, the first plane hit the Twin Towers, and I was like, I don't know what the Twin Towers was, so I didn't think nothing of it. And then I went to go, shower up, hygiene and everything, came back, and the second plane that hit, and what affected me the most is when I seen people jumping out of the building.
Yeah, wow.
So, but I didn't know what was going on, you know what I mean? I just and then stuff was going on across, the Pentagon and all that stuff. News was just coming in from every direction. Then, so I don't know if you probably don't remember Gomez, but he was my roommate at the time. So we get dressed and we go to work, because we used to just, from the barracks, we just walk across to the motor pool, and next thing you know, phone calls are coming in. We're on lockdown. So prior to being on lockdown, you may remember, but there was a little 7-inch TV. It was a radio, AM, FM, VHF. It was I had a little 7-inch TV that my brother had gave me. So I ran back to the barracks and I grabbed my TV and the little cord, I plugged it in, and I kid you not, because we didn't have no TVs at the motor pool. So we watched 9/11 happen on that little 7-inch TV on black and white.
Wow. It was black and white too? Wow.
It was black and white, and next thing you know, we had Abrams and Humvees with 50 cals mounted at the gate, nobody on, nobody off. It hit real quick, real fast, and next thing you know, you look outside and traffic is dead. Fort Hood was, busy with traffic, so
yeah.
Next thing you know, stuff just started rolling downhill. Next thing you know, a packing list comes out, and here we go.
Good to go. So what do you remember about your days of service?
Man, the days of service, I remember the good and the bad. You know what I mean? Because everywhere you go, there's good folks, there's great folks, and then there's the bad folks. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I remember family. You know what I mean? The Army it's separate family away from your family. Camaraderie,
right?
Drama. It had its own little. I don't know. It was just uh, seeing the diverse in people, coming from a small town, you saw every race, ethnicity, every culture, you know, needless to say, there was a huge difference, and you notice about how everyone was raised. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I'm a single parent, so I was taught to wash, cook, clean, laundry, and then you get to, your duty station. You got folks who don't even know how to wash their, you know.
That is true, bro. That is true.
And then you got to see like different folks, different cultures, try different food. It was just a mixture of everything. You know what I mean?
Right. So it's like you go from one home to a different home and come to find out that becomes a part of your family. Like
Yeah.
it's that camaraderie. You laugh, you joke, you cry, all in one. It's like, especially when you go down range, everybody is just like one big family.
Yeah. But then the drama follows you, and it's like, oh, I'm not talking to that guy because he did this and he did that, and it's
Yeah, turns into high school somewhat.
um I had deployed before you guys came about. So I was already a sergeant when you guys when we rotated in 2006, 2007 is when we went to Cuba. Because my first tour was in Baghdad, but I was with Sergeant Diaz. Sergeant Diaz was in I think he was S2, and I was still in the pool. But we had 2 weeks in country. We took a gunner, took shrapnel to the shoulder and the face, and I volunteered. I volunteered to be a gunner, and I was a gunner. I would dismount. I was part of the PSD, and it kind of helped me because the second deployment, it helps, because we were gone pretty much every day. You know, it made the time go by. We did come close. It was crazy because right before you get to somewhere, to your destination, or you run through the gate or this intersection, something either got shot up or blown up either before or after we got there. So it was, by the grace of God, I guess
The blessing.
we got lucky. Yeah. And then I kid you not, I remember the day that I had put in for my 2 weeks to go home for my R&R. I don't know. I don't think you remember Zane, but he took my spot and Sergeant Diaz and them. No, not Sergeant Diaz. It was Sergeant Perez. They got hit with some grenades.
Mm,
Yeah.
wow.
Blew the tires out. But luckily then we had up armor vehicles because when we went over, we was in soft shells and we had sandbags and
I remember you telling me that when I was in the motor. Like, hey, we didn't have this stuff before, bro.
dude, and I am cutting a hole in the tarp to set a 240 up there, and it's like, man, this is not cutting it. And but we drove 3 days from Kuwait to Baghdad, and I kid you not, like, how some of the tracks and everything, like you do your exercises and everything, was that gravel.
Yeah.
So every time we got to our destination, we go and we fuel up. That was the first thing, we fuel up, and then we park it and we go eat. And just hearing the sound of the tires on that gravel, it was like a sense of like, we made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody got hit, nobody got hurt. And I remember it was like there's a bolo list. Be on the lookout for a white four-door Toyota with a red stripe down the side. And I kid you not, dude, we got to this one spot before we crossed over, and there's just transport trucks full of these, brand new vehicles. And it's like, well, yeah, it was ridiculous, but it was fun. It was scary, but
Yeah. You kind of take nothing back from those times.
oh yeah.
So, what were some of the fears transitioning out of the military, if any?
No, there was fear, there's nerves, anxiety. I mean, because I was just shy of 10 years, you know what I mean? When you do something for so long, it just becomes second nature, you know? So fear, it was there. Like, what do I do? How do I do it? You know, the whole thing of what's a resume? I knew what a resume was, but I don't know, where do I start? And, we didn't have all that technology back then like we do now.
Right.
It was just, it was scary at points. You know what I mean? Like, after doing it for so long, now it's time for a change, and it's like the same thing when you graduate high school. It's like, I'm excited, but then I'm nervous and I'm scared. Now it's on me. It's not on my parents to wake me up. You know what I mean? You don't have to go to PT. Back then, wake up. Your parents wake you up. You have to go to school. Over here, if you didn't wake up, somebody was waking you up.
Yeah.
And why so and so not information? And then you have to be at a certain place at a certain time. But when you get out, I don't have to anymore. It's like I can, but do I really want to?
Right.
Hence the weight I picked up. I don't have to go to PT.
It's like I'm not gonna get this 48.56. So hey, somebody will come kick and knock on your door. You still gonna get paid for the month, but you got a couple of times before you really, really mess up before they start taking stuff from you.
It was on the clock 7.
Hmm?
It was on the clock 24/7.
Right. Once out, how hard was it for you to adjust to civilian life?
Believe it or not, it's harder than you think. As far as adjusting to life, I mean, you're still adjusting every day. Dealing with military versus dealing with civilians is night and day. I'm still adjusting. There's times that I just go and sit down at the restaurant, and I have to sit in the corner to watch the entrance to the exits. My wife now already knows, like, okay, he's gonna sit on this side. Let me sit on this side. Adjusting to the civilian life, it's, I don't know, but it's just one day at a time. I mean, there's no real definition of adjust.
Right.
You can only lift and shift fire as needed, but then you can only do that so many times before it's just like it becomes frustrating.
Oh, I know, bro. This is why this whole thing is kind of created. This kind of help people getting out, and even the
I don't
people
know if
out.
it's on your side. You're freezing. You're locking up over there.
Oh, my bag, bro. Well, yeah, this is why this whole thing is kind of created. It's kind of help people in the mix of that transition. People out and people in, and like me, it helps me like get comfortable with doing things and talking to people because it's like you're saying that the adjustment is every single day. Sometimes you have to adjust to yourself because you have to put yourself in check. A lot of the times, like, man, it's not too suits.
Yeah, yeah. No, times you have to check yourself. You know what I mean? And my wife now is like, well, babe, we weren't in the military. You know what I mean? But it's like, no, but you should know. They should know. But then, they don't have the military mentality like we did. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, my bad. So let me, as you were, as they would say, stand down. But you're adjusting yourself every day, and at the same time, you have, like you said, you have to check yourself before you step out that door.
Right. So do you think the military gave you the tools to be motivated even if it didn't seem like there would be a favorable outcome?
Yes, the military has almost every tool available. You know what I mean? The best tool that I found for me was my senior NCOs and my squad leader, my platoon leader. You know what I mean? Because I planned on being in there for a while, so I took advice from them. At the same time, I remember my first NCO was Staff Sergeant Douglas Bordelon, and he taught me a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff. And believe it or not, you do have your NCOs that got their rank because of whatever the case is, and they weren't the best ones to take advice from, but you use them bad apples as an example of what not to be as a leader. There's those leaders as do as I say, not as I do. You know what I mean? And I was never the type to do that. You can ask pretty much any of my soldiers back then. If they didn't know and I didn't know, guess what? We learned together. You know, I would not send somebody to do something that I hadn't done myself. You know, so but the army, there's so many tools for anything. You know, um, let's see. I wrote down some notes. But yeah, the army has every tool, whether you use it or not. You know, I was watching a video with Donahoe, and that kid was rebellious. A good soldier, but good. I just remember, you know, and I felt sorry for Sergeant Nelson. I feel sorry for Sergeant McCain, you know, but yeah. And you remember Hutton?
Yeah, I remember Hutton
Hmm.
because he came over to the Ghost Rider platoon before we got left off for the Iraq.
Yeah, I had to go pick him up at the MP station once. It's
You
like,
know,
who's this person? Oh, snap, you know, but no matter what, you know, I would always see the good through the bad, you know, and that's what the military helped me do. You got to take the good out of the bad, because if not, as an NCO, your soldiers look up to you. You know what I mean? And if they see you, you know, being negative and acting negative, and then they're gonna absorb what you're, you know.
they
So
said lead by example.
yes, sir.
You know, you got these things coming on, these situations like adverse. It don't seem good, don't look good, but you always got to walk around like things are okay, even when it's not.
Yes,
So,
sir.
hey, what advice would you give someone transitioning out of the military?
Okay, say that one more time. You froze.
What advice would you give someone transitioning out of the military?
Advice I would give. Um, let's see. Research. Do all your research prior to getting out. Do it in advance. Schedule every appointments that they give you. Um, when I got back from Afghanistan in 2010, because I volunteered for Afghanistan, you know, I mean, I deployed direct before I got with you guys, and then we deployed again with y'all at PCS to Fort Hood, or to Fort Sam 2008. And then in 2009, I volunteered to go to Afghanistan as an individual augmentee. And when I got back, it just, it felt different, you know what I mean? But when you or advice for them, schedule any appointments, anything with, you know, especially medical stuff, with all this stuff going on now. Um, get all the help you can get, because the Army has so many different programs out there.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't do, or I was never aware of, when I got back from Afghanistan, I started transitioning out, and nobody told me about, you know, go here, go there, you know, PST appointments, you know, TBIs, and, you know, schedule for hearings, schedule vision, schedule all your appointments. Yeah, you need to do the research on your own. You know what I mean? Because I don't know how it was for y'all when y'all got out, but when I was transitioning out, it felt like I was going to CIF to turn in my gear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For one station, you turn in your gear, cool. Check the block next. Check the block next. You know, and it felt like um I wasn't told about programs, you know, or any classes to take, you know. Um only the bare minimum, you know. Oh, here's a class for your resume, you know. And it sucked when you was transitioning. Um it felt like the soldiers you left behind and your NCOs that you left behind, it just felt like you were a disappointment to them, you know what I mean?
Right. I know. I understand.
Oh, he's a traitor, you know. He's going back to the civilian life, and it just felt like you weren't a part of that stuff anymore, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
yeah, I know I impacted some soldiers, a lot, or actually most of my soldiers. I kid you not. Not to brag or anything, but I was one of those that led by example. Um, when I was with you guys, yeah, I needed more bodies for the PSD, you know, and I was an NCO, and Sarn Diaz. I joined y'all's crew, Sarn Diaz. I had Feliciano. We had Alvarado. We had the medics. We had some of the MPs. I kid you not. this story is still talked about, but you had Sergeant Carter on here the other day, and when we got me, Sergeant Carter, and a bunch of new guys. I don't know if you were with us that time, but Cuba was a blackout. You know what I mean? There was no lights, no nothing. So when we landed, we landed off the Chinook, and then everybody's there to pick up their crew and their guys, and all of a sudden nobody came for us. Nobody. So I don't know if any of your guys, but it was me and Staff Sergeant Carter. I remember we were just there, and we grabbed a couple of other NCOs. Like, you guys hang tight here. Me and Sergeant Carter, we just like, dude, we got to do something. We had a bunch of new guys with us. Alvarado was one of them. Myself. We didn't know what to do because nobody came for us. We didn't know where we at. We just landed.
You talking about in that black field that they dropped? Oh no, bro. It's pitch black. Pitch black.
Fact, the only light we saw were people coming in and out of the
that office they had.
Huts and everything, So me and Sergeant Carter, we walked around and we found some dudes, and it was like, hey, we're looking for the headquarters for so and so. Next thing you know, hour and a half later, we find somebody, and he's like, oh, well, you weren't supposed to fly until so and so time, bro.
Information,
communication. I kid you not, like, it was crazy, but it was crazy because it was pitch black and everybody's picking up their own guys, and nobody came for us. Nobody. Oh. So we in pitch black, no idea what was what. I didn't know what direction was which. But me and Sergeant Carter, we went to go find somebody. So
yeah, you run across some amazing people. Sergeant Carter was probably one of the best retention officers I've seen in the military. I wish he was still a retention officer when I was on my transition, because I got a story behind that, but I'm not gonna throw that out here on the mix right now. But yeah. Man, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you for your service, man. It's not gone unseen. I promise you. Like, thank you. I hope this reaches somebody's ears and it helps them.
Yeah, big time. It's scary, but the only way to do it is to actually do it. If you can get advice, I wasn't told about the VA, doing your evals every 3 years. I went 7 years without seeing them,
Really? Oh, wow.
Nobody ever told me, hey, you need to go back ever so often and evaluate, because some injuries get better, which in some case, most of them get worse.
Right.
And they'll compensate for that. But I kid you not, I'd give all this stuff back. I give all that money back just to have my body back at 100%.
Exactly.
You never can't sit down for too long. You can't stand up for too long. You can't drive for too long. But
your hips must be out, because mine is, because that's why it is with me. Sit down too long, your hips start hurting, your back start hurting. Yeah, you gotta, like, I think the programs that they have coming out of the military is a lot different from when I was.
Yeah, there's so many programs, and I'm like, well, god dang, where were y'all when I was getting out? It's like, and believe it or not, Texas is the best state for veterans.
Right.
For every state, my state, New Mexico, it just sucks, but you can only do so much with what you got, but research your state if you do plan on going back home, about programs for veterans, things like that, your VA office. Every city, if I'm not mistaken, mainly every big cities, they'll have a VA rep, and they'll help you. They helped me with my disability and increasing it. Disabled vet plates, even didn't think I needed it or wanted it, but that's not what they say. They say you earned it, so. But it's, do your research, and there's so many programs out there for individuals transitioning out, and there's a lot of companies, I kid you not, that are out there to help veterans. There's pretty much everything. School also, so those who want to continue education, by all means, do it.
Jump on it. But hey, man, I gotta close out, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, man. Thank your family, because you know they serve with you right alongside of you, you and your hard headedness. But you know, who's up next for formation, man? Let's talk.